Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders today we have with us Miss Robin. How are you doing today?
I'm terrific.
Fantastic. Today I understand that we're going to be talking about choices. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's what I understand.
You know, this thing about choices really does start to come to the head. I'm seeing more and more people really struggling with making even the simple choices.
Right. And feeling free to make the good choice.
Yeah, it seems like they're cornered into making wrong choices, and I don't understand that.
And then they make more wrong choices. Yeah. Exactly.
So we make choices every single day, and our lives are filled with choices from the moment we open our eyes in the morning till late at night when we close them again. And when we make choices, I think we make some choices even when we're asleep, just so you know.
Oh, definitely. I think
You know,
our dreams affect our choices.
and so what are some of the best choices we can make daily is what I want to really look at.
Okay.
Okay.
And
So
you have written certain areas that we're going to
I have
hit
because
on just for
I
giggles
think
and
it's
kicks.
so important. This thing about happiness. You know,
Happiness,
everybody always
joy.
tells me, "Yeah, well, I can't be happy if I don't have enough money, or I can't be happy if I don't have the right car, if I don't have the right person, blah, 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 blah." It just drives me over the
Right.
edge.
And chances are that person is never going to be happy. And that's the
So,
choice they made.
you know, my grandfather installed in me early in my youth that happiness depends on me.
Exactly. You're in charge of that.
You know, it can't be the person sitting next to you. It's just not. This doesn't how it works.
Right. Like I said, it's up to you to be happy or not.
So if I put everything into what I thought would make others happy, would I be happy?
No, because you only have to worry about making you happy, don't you? Isn't that the whole purpose here? Yeah, we're in charge of our life in certain areas, and if you want to be happy, you can be happy.
So what Grandpa was trying to say was, is you can either you can spend your life chasing,
Right.
or
Or
you
you
can
can
just
be.
spend your life enjoying.
Right.
And I think that's the huge difference. I see in today's newspapers and radios and television, it's this huge chase. It's like, are you happy? Well, yeah. Well, why?
I just had a thought about if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Yeah.
Um, that's all we teach very young children, and I think that's the maybe the simple answer here. If you're happy and you know it.
But I think it's a simple answer, but I think it's so true.
It's true. And not every part of your life is going to be happy all at the same time necessarily. But you can choose joy and peace of mind and happiness over drama and stress.
Well, I think there's just so much drama that just seems to be pushed on us.
Oh, I wouldn't even say put anything thrown at us.
You know,
Like an egg or something.
it's like some people instead of happiness, they live for the drama. And so if there
Yeah,
is none, they create
they
some.
create some.
And I think that the happiness piece is I feel bad for them because I don't think they're going to ever be happy.
No, but you can sit back and watch them and be happy with that. Because we can just sit back and watch them be happy. Yeah. And again, make those choices and comparisons with our life.
Okay. Okay. Let's look at this next one because I think it's a big one. This thing called kindness. You know, it's a choice you make. I truly believe it's a choice. It's, you know, kindness is something we all can do without much effort or costing any money.
Right. That's why I said the underlying thing here is it doesn't cost anything to be kind.
You know, it's just could be a simple hello.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, you know, hey,
opening a door,
I see you could use some help.
smiling,
You know,
not buying into the drama.
Yeah, or just open a door with a smile. I mean,
Right.
I think to
Let me help
myself,
you.
how many times I've done that and somebody's given me some
Yeah,
sour,
yeah,
dire thing.
Like they want something like you're.
Why'd you open the door for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm being kind.
I was just doing because that's, well, it's kind of the way I was raised too. But,
To be polite.
you know, yeah, to be
Kind.
polite. I think this thing of being polite it goes with this kindness thing.
Right. When I was also going to tell you that when I'm not kind to somebody, and it does occur occasionally, I don't feel happy. So
when you're not kind,
connect
you don't feel
dots here.
happy.
I don't feel happy. I don't feel happy when I'm unintentionally or even intentionally not kind to people.
Yeah. So,
And sometimes you have to be unkind to get people's attention so they understand how unkind they're being too.
So one of the kindness could be if you see something that needs done, just do it.
Just do it.
You
Right.
know, it costs nothing to be kind,
Mhm.
and may mean the world to the receiver.
Right.
You know, it was really funny when I was writing this down as a. I know we just finished writing one of our books called Woodscraft Nation, and in the original 12 laws from the Woodscraft Nation, there was kindness,
Mhm.
and
Well,
I thought it was so interesting the way it was written.
okay.
It says this: kindness above all others, the great Tecumseh was kind to every man and to the beasts. And his kindness came again to him. It caused him no loss, no, not the value of a hair. And it gave him power over all men. Let each one strive to do at least one act of kindness every day, for thereby he becomes kinder, and his kindness comes to him again.
Right.
Do a good turn daily.
Right. And that's Woodscraft Nation, which kind of preceded scouting in this country.
Yeah,
The original book did. So in Girl Scouts, it was a Girl Scout is kind in thought, word, and deed.
okay. So, you know, that's the kind of things you and I grew up
We
with.
grew up with that. Yeah.
Okay. So how would
It's
we
back here somewhere.
how would we kind of promote that to people who didn't grow up with that?
When they do something, you say, "Was that a nice thing to do? Was it kind? And how do you feel about what you just did?"
Ooh,
Which is
was
what
it
we would say to
nice
your
or
children.
kind?
Yeah, was it nice or kind? Like you would say it to a 4-year-old in preschool. Was that a nice or kind thing to do when you kicked that poor little boy in the shin? Would you like him to do that to you? Which goes back to the golden rule, which is very biblically based. Do unto
Okay.
others.
You know, I love this word kindness. It just makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Resonates.
well, it resonates because I think that it's something that we all can do, and you should do with almost without thinking.
Yes, we should, and we do without thinking. But then again, we don't think about it. So do we? We demonstrate as much as we can, and do we pass that
So does
that kindness thoughts on to other people?
So does kindness need to be more intentional for us?
I think a lot of things need to be more intentional, and occasionally you have to point them out to people.
I think that brings us to this next word that I've got written down here. It's called respect.
Okay.
You know, first respect yourself and then
There's
respect
a song about
others.
that, RESPECT.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people like that song.
I like that song.
I'm not sure
I'm not so sure you put it into practice.
Right.
You need to respect others for who and what they are,
Mhm.
not who and what you want them to be.
Right. And I was raised with respect is earned. And when I was challenged on some of that at different times in my life, and I say respect is earned, and basically people start out in the middle, like at 0, maybe if you're on a negative and positive
And
number
then
line,
move
one way or the other, right? So respect is earned. Some people don't really deserve your respect. Sometimes we are expected to give respect to people because of the positions they hold.
Yeah,
And that's kind of a
I do
bad
think.
path.
Well, it is, but it isn't. I think we need to respect our law officers. Okay.
Yes.
I do think you respect your mom and dad. You respect your teachers. I think there are some positions that do come with this respect.
Again, I still see that.
But I still think that there has to be on their side of the house.
Yes.
Some respect back to you.
Right.
I think it's a two-way street.
I do. I think it comes and goes. And again, respect kind of slides occasionally with some people, with me up and down that negative and positive numbers line. And that's just because that was the way I mentally saw it.
It was really hard to look at this word respect because it seems like you can build this big platform and like you go from 0 to whatever, but if you got 0 to 10 and you get to 10, that's like super respect.
Super.
It only takes one thing to knock it back down to 0.
No. It only probably come back down to 9.
Oh,
depending on what it is. See, it's that kind of. It doesn't go to 0. It might slide back and go forward a bit, and it might not. You know, there's a lot of what are we calling that now?
Ambiguity.
Well, yeah, that's it. I was thinking of the word for the bad press and the bad headlines right now.
Oh, fake news.
Fake news. Fake news has given people a lot of disrespect, and it makes it difficult for other people to crawl back and keep that person in a respectful place sometimes, I think. And we need to be aware of that.
I think that would probably bring us to this next question.
Well, the honesty thing.
Yeah, honesty. you have a choice, to be honest.
Mhm.
Even when it was, I wrote down honestly, honesty is the best policy. And
Absolutely.
when you tell the truth, you never have to worry about the lie you just told.
Yeah.
There's more to it than
Oh,
that.
there's a lot more to it than that.
When I was director of a company, every year at the beginning of school year, my number of pads and pencils and papers and paper clip and
Oh,
all that
could
seemed
it
to
disappear?
disappear. And
Yeah.
and, and like the second year I was in charge of that, I locked that cabinet and made everybody really angry with me. But they assumed that it was okay for them to take the
Well,
supplies from work home to their children as a perk.
yeah, and honestly, that is something that has happened over generations and all kinds of things. I remember growing up in a factory town.
Uh-huh.
At the time, back in the 50s and early 60s, all the paper cups that came with the water, whatever the water
Mhm.
fountains, or I must have fountain, but water dispensers in all the factories were like white paper, and they were kind of folded on each other. So
Yeah.
when you took, they made a flat thing. Now we knew that you couldn't buy those in a store,
Right.
but literally everybody I knew except the guy across the street who was a tailor had those in their house for paper cups for when kids came in and were drinking Kool-Aid and stuff. Everybody had them. And then your dad, before we got married, or right at early marriage years, worked for the post office, and he went to this big training somewhere, and he came back and he pulled out a paper like he said, "Do you know, if everybody that worked for the post office took home one paper clip,
Yep.
how much money that costs us?" Because it affects our what we pay for stamps. So, and we've known people over the years that like things walk home from work, like you said, the pens. Now, I will tell you, if you work in a bank, the pens are expected to walk away because they want to advertise their bank. That's what I heard. That's just what I heard. But I think we need to be aware that if someone gives you an ad, especially that's so you promote their business.
There's difference between
If you're
ad specialty.
taking a box of pencils from work, so you'd have to buy pencils for your kids, the box of pencils probably costs $2. But if you lose your job because you took things from work, which is a fireable offense,
Right. That's the
you've
point.
lost a lot more than $2.
That's the point here.
Right.
It's this thing of there's a whole. Somebody told me the other day, Dick, there's degrees of honesty.
No, I think it's a downward spiral.
I said, no, I don't believe there is degrees in honesty.
Yeah,
I think you either are or you are not.
Right. And I know when we go to, I look at the motel shampoos and soaps, and there's always a pad of paper and a pen in there. And we've gotten places we traveled so much, we have stacks of pads where you wrote one note on it, threw it in your purse or your briefcase or something. And I don't really even like those pens. There's a couple kinds of pens I like to write with, and those I don't even take
That's
them
not
anymore.
yours.
It costs them money. It makes your motel room go up. You don't really need it.
Exactly. It's just think about. I think that they're expected to take care of those, but I mean,
yeah.
What I'm talking about is that just the simple things that you go to work, and that they provide you to have. They provide you to have those at work, not at home.
Right.
And I think there's a huge, big difference there.
Right, because think about if you were running that department, you know how many people you had working in there and how many pens they should need in a year. They probably went through 10 times that. Yeah.
I was amazed the first year it happened. Okay.
And again,
I'm just telling you that I was responsible for it, and so I felt responsible.
Well,
okay?
the other part of that is if you have young children and they know you're bringing things home from work, they don't think anything about bringing things home from school that they like.
It's the thought process that you're passing on.
You're passing on.
That it's okay to do this because, and the justification is never worth the end result.
Okay, let me tell you a story that really happened.
That
really brought to my mind the bigger picture of honesty.
Okay.
All right, so I'm in Walmart. And sometimes when you walk in Walmart, you're only there for a couple things, so you don't want the cart. So I had walked in for a couple things, didn't want the cart, found a cart sitting all by itself off in a corner in an aisle, and thought, I'll do the store people a favor. I'll move this cart.
I remember this.
Okay, so I'm in the store, and another woman comes up, and we happen to be looking at bras. and she needed a cart so she could put her stuff in a cart and have 2 cans of liquor bras. And I said, there's an empty one that's been sitting. I've been in this department for 10 minutes. That cart's been sitting right there. Nobody's been in or out. Why don't you just take that? She said, oh, I could never take someone else's cart like that. And I thought, whoa, there's a truly honest person. I wonder what went on in her life that she won't take a cart that's been sitting
Because it might
in the
belong to
department
someone
because
else.
it was empty, because somebody might come along and want to pick it up. She literally went into there was a dressing room in that area. She literally went up and said, hey, did anybody leave this card out here? Is it yours or what? Before she used it. I was like, wow. But that really is a truly, I was really put down. A truly honest person.
So there's that place for choices, which
Right.
goes back to respect. She was respecting the other people.
Oh yeah, it was
She was showing
phenomenal.
the kindness by not making sure she did, and it made her happy.
Right.
So
And it made me really think.
all right, so the next one we're going to look at is values.
Okay.
Okay, you have a choice on what values you choose to live by.
Right.
You must know what you value and what you understand and what you do not value.
Right.
And put your efforts into the things you do value. I think that this word value has gotten misconstrued.
Yeah, because it seems like it's based on finances.
On
money.
cost.
Okay.
Okay, and I believe
And
it
there's
is.
more values.
I believe that cost is part of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a cost of monetary situation.
Okay.
I believe the cost is when you don't live by your values, that the cost of your life goes down.
Oh,
That's my belief.
Becomes valueless.
Well, that's it. So if you don't stand for stand for something, you don't stand for anything, and you accept anything. But I think this thing values. I just, for me, it was quite easy. I lived by 12 points of Scout law. It was very, very simple for me.
It was clear and concise. It was written down.
And we said it every week, so it got ingrained, and you lived your life that way, and it was great. I see people now, again, it's justifying values as to where they're at and what situation they're in.
Oh.
And it's not a constant. And I believe that is a way that tears down our society and our morals and things. I just think it takes away.
Because the less you hold your values, as you, again, it's a circle in the drain.
That's it.
The less values you have.
Yeah.
Within you and without you. I mean,
well, if we don't have some things that we will not negotiate.
Right, the non-negotiables like honesty and kindness and respect.
I believe that but I'm struggling with people who negotiate everything. Everything is negotiation.
Oh,
I was sitting with the pastor the other day, and he said everything in life is a negotiation. And I said, no, I don't believe everything is. I believe there's a certain set of values that I live by that I don't bend.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are just non-negotiables, like honesty. I mean, I don't hang out with people that are dishonest or unkind because I'm not happy there.
Yeah. So you can choose your values.
You can choose your values.
I'm going to encourage leaders to make sure that when they're choosing their values, sometimes they can share those with other people.
Yeah, and that no matter where they are, they have the same values because people
are watching. Important. That's important.
They're watching. Okay. All things are negotiable.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how many parents of young children we encounter at this point in time where everything's a negotiation. How much of my dinner do I have to eat before I get dessert? Well, I grew up with, you clean your plate.
Yeah, you either do
Not
or you don't.
half of this and half of that.
There was no in between.
There was no in between. The food's on your plate, eat it. And if you can't eat it or you're too full, you don't need dessert.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So yeah, I think now negotiating is not part of a value system.
I don't. So let's jump on to the next word because I think this one is you can choose collaboration.
You can.
Okay.
And that has a lot of different facets to that too.
Well, the reason I chose this word is I truly believe we do nothing in this world alone.
Right.
Okay. I mean, even the clothes I have on, I didn't, plant.
I didn't make them.
I didn't plant the cotton. I didn't pick the cotton. I didn't, weave the cotton. I didn't dye the cotton. And I didn't make the shirt.
Right.
Although I do look good in it. So, we constantly stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. That's the point. And collaboration means more than one mind working on any idea or solution. And it's always more fun to do things with others. And I think that's true.
It is. I think especially from a leadership position, because if a leader's not collaborating, you're actually the dictator, I believe. That might be the line we cross there. But I think you need to collaborate on things. I just had a situation that came up, and I sent it out to one of my email groups.
I thought it was a great idea.
Well, actually, I've done it twice in the past month. I've had things come up, and I'm not sure I have the right answer. The first thing I do is get hurt. Sometimes I cry. And then I send out a thoughtful, and that comes from that TV show that was on last fall called Wisdom of the Crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really great process for collaboration because I got a bunch of different answers that were all similar. Like they were all lined up. It wasn't like there were two sides to this.
No, it really wasn't.
Response. It was just a lot of information on one side, and it makes me feel like I'm not flapping the breeze by myself up here.
Right,
I actually have people with better brains and more thought and different experiences that are telling me the same thing that I probably already knew.
But we can't
we'll
know.
See how it flies.
None of us knows everything.
Even if I think I do.
Okay, and I think what the great part about what Robin's explaining to you is that this was a situation that was quite tenuous, and it could have gone either all your way or all another way. I mean, there was
anywhere in between.
It was like, so when she sent the information out, people came back with different ideas, but they were all in alignment, even though different words were used, but they were in alignment of what to do and how to handle it.
Which was probably what I knew to begin with.
Now, how huge was that?
Yeah.
Now, that's really a wonderful way to, I don't want to use the word consensus, but I want to come to say is it's a really great way to look at life.
Oh, it is, because like we said, not everybody has all the answers or knows everything, and there might be one little facet of something, one little aspect of the big picture that I'm missing.
Right.
That they can bring.
That's
the point.
To mind. That's the point.
And give them space and time to do that.
There might be just one little facet that I'm overlooking, that I didn't hear,
I didn't
listen to,
right.
Or any of those other things that someone else picks up on and can say, did you ever think of it this way?
Yeah. Oh, that was my dad.
Or what did you learn from that?
Yeah,
I mean, all those kind of things. Collaboration is such a huge piece. I don't think we use it near enough.
No, and it's one of those kind of concepts where when you get collaboration from people on something, you really end up with a better end result, no matter what it is.
It's like a third answer.
It's like the best.
I really do enjoy it.
And it's a process that, as a leader, you have to be open to and practice.
You have to make a choice to use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all my way or the highway. This is like, hey, gang, I need some help here.
Right.
Let me explain to you what I see. And then come and let's take and put all of our thought processes together.
Right.
It's a huge piece, but it's a choice you make. And as leaders, I have to tell you, sometimes leaders don't choose collaboration.
No, I think they get pushed in a corner occasionally, and
then they just have to make a quick decision, and
boom.
It's
not always the right one or the best one.
All right. So choices,
or the kind one.
choices really start to stack up, and you're going to see that I stacked these in a way that each one builds on the next one. By the way, this next one is forgiveness. We have a choice to have forgiveness. They say the hardest thing in the world to do is to forgive.
I think at this point in my life that forgiveness is something you need to do sooner rather than later, because it only makes you crazy. I also know that some people are not willing to forgive you, and you have to deal with that and move on, or stay off their radar or something. I don't know. But if they're not anybody that can forgive, and it's usually for something really, really trivial.
Let me take this a little farther. There was a famous person, I don't remember who it was, but they said holding a grudge is like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die. Okay.
Yes, in so many ways.
Now, forgiveness is not always easy. It is the best medicine one can take, though. And forgive others for transgressions, either real or imagined.
Right, because sometimes someone didn't even realize they did something, and you still have to forgive them.
And that's the big one.
Or it makes you sick.
As leaders, so many times somebody might say something. They might do it without even thinking about it. They didn't do it to hurt you. They didn't do it to hurt the company, the organization. It just happened.
Right.
Okay.
And sometimes you didn't hear all of it So you
There you go.
you didn't get the whole story, or someone didn't tell you the whole story, you didn't hear the whole story. You walked in the middle, and you're forgiving, and you don't know the whole story, or you misheard a word.
I'm just think that this forgiveness piece is such the choice to do it
Right.
has to come before the actual fact.
Right.
I choose to forgive. There's been a lot of things that happened to me in my life, and if I had held on to them, I think I'd been a real bitter person.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And so I think that's
forgiveness is a pretty much fundamental Christian.
It is
theology thing there.
I don't think we talk about it near enough. I
think pastors are uncomfortable talking about it.
Well, maybe they don't practice forgiveness.
We don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This last one on my list is generosity.
Mm-hmm. You can be generous with your forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand the order.
I stacked these all. I did it with a thoughtful process. Mm-hmm. Generosity, when we give freely with no expectations, it's amazing how things come back to you in good ways. Give because it's the right thing to do. Give because someone has given to you and you know the benefits. Give because it will help your neighbor. Give because you can.
And this just isn't finances.
No, this is not.
It's your thoughts and your wisdoms.
One of our neighbors just needs someone to talk to. And when I go out there, sometimes I don't really have time to stay, but I take the time because that generosity for them, that time is huge. Mm-hmm. They get to speak. They haven't spoken to anybody all day except for the dog. And they get to speak to a live human person. It's huge.
It's huge.
It didn't cost me anything. There was no monetary piece. Sometimes I don't get things done, but
it's 5 or 10 minutes.
No big deal.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So be generous. Be generous with your ideas.
So I'm going to look backwards now because I want you to take and see how these all stack together.
Okay.
The last one we just got done talking about was generosity. Generosity is a part of forgiveness, by the way, because you have to be generous enough to establish that piece that you're going to forgive. You have to look for collaboration because in this process of generosity and forgiveness, collaboration really is going to be open you up to more than just one person or one thing. You're going to look at generosity, forgiveness, and collaboration through your values. Through your values. And be honest with yourself. And you have to respect yourself before you can respect anyone else. But the show of kindness, the act of kindness, has to be an intentional part of the generosity and forgiveness part. It all starts to stack together because without those things, it's going to be very hard for you to be kind to anyone. It's going to be very hard for you to bring kindness into your world. But the biggest one, with all these things stacked up in your world, to be happy. Because you have to make the decision. You have to make the choice of happiness on your own. What do you think?
I think you're right.
It was fun to take and put these together today. Robin, I really want to appreciate that you come and you've helped me kind of flesh these out a little bit. Leaders, I hope you understand that these words didn't come by easily, that we spent a lot of time putting them together for you so you could take and spend time working with others as well as yourself on making happiness a goal or just a way of life.
It's a choice.
A choice. So choose to be happy. Choose kindness. Choose respect. Choose honesty. Choose values. Choose collaboration. Choose forgiveness. And by golly, choose generosity. Well, we want, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and Robin Powell, we want to say, and the whole Leadership Corner team, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Send us an email, dick@leadershipwrangler.com, dick@leadershipwrangler.com. Go to set your very own appointment with either Robin or myself at www.leadershipwrangler.com, www.leadershipwrangler.com. If it's just burning question, you've got to have it answered today, give us a call. 727-422-1833. 727-422-1833. And when you're ready for that next big keynote or opportunity for leadership and accountability, give Rob and I a call here at 727-422-1833. And until next time, this is DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.